The blockchain is for sure the hardest thing to grasp when it comes to understanding Bitcoin. So today I'm going to go over what it is, how it works, why it's secure, all the things. Because when I got into Bitcoin, it was the one thing that went over my head for a long time. And I'm just hoping I can make it a little easier for someone else who's just getting into it. But before I get into that, welcome to Black to Bitcoin, where I share the need for Bitcoin in the Black community. And I would just love to invite you to subscribe to the channel and give the video a like. It is appreciated and it helps. So thank you in advance. Okay, let's get into this blockchain. First, I want to give you a way to look at the bigger picture. And then I'm going to go into the way the transactions work. And then that will reveal any other aspects that need to be explained. Okay, but the bigger picture is that it is a ledger. Just like a ledger would have a list of things, a list of names or transactions, amounts, whatever, the blockchain is the same thing. It is just public and it is digital, but it should be looked at the same way. Okay, so that is the bigger picture. But now I'm going to go into a transaction, and that's from start to finish. So I basically have 1 through 9 listed on my sheet so that I can give you what the mechanics are. Okay, so the first thing is that a transaction is created. So if I decided to send some of my Bitcoin to you, I would send it from my wallet to your wallet. Okay, so that's how it's created. And then when I do that, there are a few things that will be revealed with it. So the sender, me, the receiver, you, the amount, and then the digital signature. So that is the beginning of the transaction. Then the transaction is broadcast. Okay, so the way you can look at this is there's a big pool of computers that pretty much control this entire network. So once you send this transaction, it is broadcast on this global network. Okay? Then the transaction is collected into a block. So a block can be looked at as a page in that ledger that we were talking about. So just like a ledger has a certain amount of the details on one page, the block is the same thing. All these different transactions are collected on this one block. So it is a set of numbers, not numbers, but transactions. All right? Oh yeah, and then I have that basically the way the blocks work is that miners, which Bitcoin is created through miners. So, and I mean miners like people who mine things, just like people mine gold or coal. Miners are the people that create Bitcoin and put it into the system. So when a transaction is done or it goes out, the miners get the transactions, and they are the transactions that are in a block. Work with me. This stuff is kind of technical. So I just need you to bear with me so that you get the picture. Okay? So yes, the miners gather the transactions and bundle them into a block. All right? Then the block is validated. Now, this is when, so the miners are basically competing for that block, and it's called scope of work. So they solve these really complex mathematical problems to claim the block. And this takes a lot of electricity, a lot of power to do this because it's done on computers. Okay? So it's validated. And I just want to make sure I say that. Yes. So it's validated and they collect the block. Then the block is added to the chain. The chain is what makes it secure. Each block is connected to the other blocks. So in order to do anything to the chain and to hack it or do anything shady, you would have to change all the blocks before, and everything after would be affected. And because it's transparent, that won't happen because everybody will see what you're doing, including these really smart people, by the way, that would not let it happen. But even you and I, we could see that if we were looking for it, we would see what is going on. So basically, there are the people who really are going to keep the blockchain together, okay? You can't do anything to it, all right? It is very secure. All right, is that all I have with that? Yep. Okay, then the transaction is confirmed, all right? So after the transaction is confirmed, that makes it 100% safe on the blockchain, because after that, more things will be created and yours is already solidified. So that's where that comes in. Then the ledger is updated, and it's updated everywhere. So once that transaction is good, it's on the ledger and everyone can see it and everyone can make sure that it is correct. Then the miner is rewarded. So once the this transaction is secure, the miner gets a fee for that transaction. And this is where the incentive comes for the miners to take on the blocks. Okay? And then for 9, I have repeat. And that is it. And I don't know if I did that any justice because I feel like I was just going all over the place, but that is pretty much how it works. Now, if I had to talk about a little bit more of it, I would explain the wallet concept a little bit better, which is the wallet is not what holds the Bitcoin. The blockchain holds the Bitcoin. People mix that up with the wallet. The wallet is the thing that helps you, that pretty much holds the idea of the Bitcoin. This is the hardest part. This is the hardest part to explain. Your wallet doesn't hold the Bitcoin. It just holds the access to transferring the Bitcoin. The Bitcoin is actually out into the world, into the blockchain. And the way it is secure is that only your wallet address is shown on the ledger. Okay, so when I say everyone can see it, it's not like it's your name and all of that. They are wallets. So when I say sender, that's me, that's my wallet address. When I say you, that's your wallet address. So that is how the wallet thing comes into play. And I think that might be the one that is mistaken the most, is what the wallet is. So I'm going to go through this list, just the actual thing, because I just want it to be clear, the order. Transaction is created. The transaction is broadcast. The transaction is then collected into a block. The block is validated. The block is then added. The transaction is confirmed. The ledger is updated everywhere. The miner is rewarded, and then it's repeated. And that repetition is repeated every 10 minutes for the most part. Okay? So that is my video on the blockchain. I hope that I helped somebody. I'm going to put this out. I'm putting this video out, stumbles and all, but I think I got the point across. But if you have any questions, feel free to make a comment in the description, make a comment, put a comment, and I will reply to that. If there's anything that you can help to make this more clear, and you are into Bitcoin and understand it, please put it in the comments, because I don't know if I did this any justice. So anyways, hope you enjoyed, hope it helped. Have a great day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.